back to the Milwaukee Show, and today we are talking about Martin Necas being kept around in North Carolina a little bit longer in his career as he signs a 2-year contract at $6.5 million, and the Hurricanes keep him around because you can't spell Canes without Necas. Anyways, so let's talk about this, because I have a lot of thoughts about this contract, and that kind of leads to the issue with one of the teams that I'm one of the biggest cheerers for. Like, I truly like all the teams in the NHL, but the Hurricanes, they definitely are in, like, my top 5 of, like, want to be, could be my favorite team just in, like, the next year, right? But the Hurricanes are giving me a tough time to believe in them lately, right? So, Martin Necas, let's talk about him first. 4th in points this year on the Hurricanes, 53 points on this squad, which is a little bit of an inkling of what the issue is with this team if you look towards the bottom of this whiteboard of this team's issue, but we'll get there. 53 points, 4th on the team. So on your team, if you finish 4th, like if you played on like your team at home or something like that, if you finish 4th in points, that's not too bad. If you're on a team that is contending, wins a lot of games, is in the playoffs, and you're 4th in points, that is not bad. You are part of the core. And not just that, last season, 22-23 year, he finishes it with number 1 on the team with 71 points. So he's 1 year removed from leading the team in points and goals. He had 28 goals last year. This season he had 24 goals. So he's scoring goals, especially compared to the rest of the Hurricanes. He's getting lots of points. He's getting lots of goals. He's a main contributor to this team. But it's all great and all, right? Because he's 25 years old, so he's got plenty of time. He's still in his prime. He's got lots of potential to add to a team to make them a true contender, right? He's a top offensive leader, and, you know, like, if you add one of your top guys who could potentially contend to be your top leading points guy, $6.5 million's a steal, right? Like, most guys, like, I don't know, like, that is like a second liner's contract, and he just banged in his buck. Sure, like, Jeff Jarvis and Aho are going to be the top line guys, but Nate just leading the charge, you know. You need that 1-2 punch, and Nate just is right there. So, what is the issue with this contract, right? What do I have an issue with this, right? Because it doesn't hurt the Hurricanes. I mean, 6.5 for him is fine. They're going to be able to sign Seth Jarvis, so, like, they're not contained by anything. But the issue is that this team, the Hurricanes, this one right here, that one, that team, these boys, this guy, they are all on the hunt to win the Stanley Cup. They are all on the path to want to bring North Carolina to a great trophy, some great wins, to go back to the 2005 and 6 season with their coach, Rod Brindamore, was there, that won the Stanley Cup. They want to go back to those days and bring them back to the 20s of the 2000s, whatever. They're trying to be winners again, right? That's what they're on the roll for, right? That is what mode they're in. They're not in rebuild. They're not in retool. They are on the hunt for the Stanley Cup. That is what their goal is, right? To rule the NHL, to have their dynasty, right? Have their, last decade, we had the Kings and the Ducks and the Penguins, right? I would even throw in there the Tampa Bay Lightning, but regardless, like, each decade is, like, controlled by, like, a few teams, and the Hurricanes from, like, the late teens to now the 20s have been in the contention for that spot, right? The king of the kingdom, and they have just been a joker every single time, a jester of the NHL, as we go in every year for the Hurricanes and think, oh yeah, this team's got some great, like, the depth is amazing, the defense is one of the highest paid, it does its job, we have a solid goaltender in Kochetkov or Freddie Anderson or Ronta or whoever the hell else, or Mrazek. Like, every year it's like, oh yeah, they've got a great goaltender that can win them some games, they got good defense, and they got some great offensive depth that can really push them over the line, right? You need depth to win, you need defense, you need goaltending, right? You need, what I say in hockey, to win the cup, you need God, which is goaltending, offense, and defense. G-O-D. And the Hurricanes have a absolutely dog shit time of scoring goals. Because honestly, this team, 4th in points on a team that is contending, 53 points. 53 points, right? That's not bad. But you look at, like, the Hurricanes, right? Not the Hurricanes, the Lightning. When you have Kucherov and Braden Point, and you have Stamkos and Hedmans and all these players that are in the 60s and 70s and 80s of points that are all up here. And then by the time you get to the guys in the 50s, where they're like your third liners or something, you're really good third liners if you have, like, a contending team. But Necas, if he was a third liner, that'd be great. I know he played third line minutes sometimes, but that's not the issue. He might be a third liner, but he's the fourth player in points. Your third liner should be like eighth or something like that. Not fourth. And not even just fourth by like a long shot. Fourth by only being like 15 points behind the top guys. So to me, it's like, this is horrible for the Hurricanes, right? This team has had a problem for 6 years straight. 6 years of being a contender. Okay, maybe like 6 years ago, not a contender, but when they broke into the playoffs for the first time with all like their newly built team with Aho and Teravainen, they broke into the playoffs with Dougie Hamilton, and they didn't, obviously I don't think people really thought they would win the cup that year, but they were like, they're on the scene. They had a great playoffs, and it was like, okay, the Canes are in it to win it now. The next year, it's like, it's like you need to try and lose before you can learn. You need to lose to learn to win. And the Hurricanes, first 2 years, like, okay, yeah, they put in some strong efforts, they put in a good bet, but they didn't win it, right? But the last few years, I would say the last 3, they have been absolute contenders, and they have done nothing. The furthest they got was the conference finals, and they were there by a good margin. They were meant to be in the conference finals against the Florida Panthers last season. But guess what happened? They couldn't score a goddamn goal. The great depth that they have doesn't know how to score a goal. The defense can't score a goal. They can't beat Bobrovsky, and they lose so many of these overtime games. I forget what it was, but I counted it up over the last few years in one of my videos during the playoffs, and they've had like 10 overtime losses or something like that, or just 1 goal deficits. The Hurricanes always lose by 1 fucking goal all the time in the playoffs. And if they had anybody on this team to step up, where you have Aho and Necas and Jarvis, you have these guys that just cannot get the job done. They just don't. They're not the players for it. So Martin Necas, right, as much as he is a great player and a great addition, could be a great top line guy, he is not new to the team. He is part of the problem that already exists. And this team, I know apparently there was rumors that they were trying to trade him away. Apparently the main one going on is for Rutger McGroarty and Cole Perfetti from the Winnipeg Jets. But would that have, like, those guys aren't going to change anything around right now. Rutger McGroarty, as much as he wants to play an NHL spot, he's not going to be the guy that gets the goals that this team's looking for. Neither is Cole Perfetti at the current moment, right? So that trade just doesn't really make any sense to me. Martin Necas to the Jets also just doesn't make sense. Where they're looking at for, like, the Bruins, right? Where you could put him with the Czechie of line mates of, like, Zacha and Pasternak, right? Could have got someone back from them, right? Could have traded away and gotten someone. Maybe some big landslide trade to get a guy like, well, Marchand would have been weird, but, there's options out there, right? And it's just weird to me that this team just cannot find a solution to any of that, right? They just don't. And offense is the issue. And then this offseason, they go out and they get Sean Walker. They get Sean Walker and Shane Gosh to spare. The defense, of course. The defense that already had Slavin and Shea and... I'm sorry. We got rid of Brady Shea. Brett Pesce too. Okay. So we're just going to bring in Sean Walker and Gosh to spare, because that's like such a great improvement overall. The Hurricanes are just in this stupid rut for the last 6 years that just, this wheel just seems to keep spinning, and there's nothing changing it. This team needs offense. They need a guy who's requesting a trade like Patrick Laine, who can be an absolute superstar at scoring goals, especially if you just need a guy to go out there and play some amazing like goal scoring time, especially with guys like Aho, who are more of like a pass first playmaker guy. You can have him with a Laine, and then you can have a guy like Necas on the second line with like Seth Jarvis or something like that, right? But no, this team, every single season, it looks like to me, it was like when Timo Meier, now looking back, might not have been the smartest idea, but hindsight's always 20/20. But Timo Meier, a guy that we know is a 40-goal scorer, he's up for grabs. And apparently the asking price was not very much by the return to the Sharks were from the Devils. But Carolina, didn't land him, right? They don't land a guy like Timo Meyer, a big power forward who can score goals and fit perfectly well on a team like the Hurricanes. Of course, now it looks like maybe not so much would have been a good idea with his way he's played with the Devils, but you get what I mean is the opportunity was there. Where's the line ace, right? No. They're deciding to keep with guys like Necas, who are part of the problem, and the puzzle just isn't working, right? And this team, it just feels like they're going to do nothing ever to actually figure out the issue and put this team into the stratosphere and win the Stanley Cup, right? You need to be the best team to win the Cup. You need to be the best team overall to win the President's Trophy, right? This team is not doing anything historic, right? Nothing about what they are doing, like how the Golden Knights or the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Colorado Avalanche or what the Penguins and the Blackhawks and all these other teams have done over the last decades, right? Or the last decade or then whatever. There's been, well, I guess we're actually past like the Blackhawks time, aren't we? No, I guess 2025 would be still 10 years. But anyways, they're not doing any of those moves that put them over the line, to put them over the top to remember this team. And it just feels like there's nothing in place to do it either, right? As much as like the Devils have had no real success lately, I see them and the teams like like Buffalo and the Senators having potentiality of putting themselves into that dynasty mode. The Hurricanes, they had the foundation, but they're doing nothing to actually put on a roof. And to me, you have to be the prettiest house to win the Stanley Cup, if that means anything. But I guess what I say doesn't mean anything, does it? So that is all I've got to say. So if you've made it this far, please, I am begging you, please subscribe and tell me down below if you think I'm stupid, if this is like... Overall, I will say I don't think I actually truly said this. The deal itself is good. I am not against this actual contract, but it's the fact that the option to trade him away, to move him away, to get him somewhere else, bring in new pieces to try to win this game is just not doing anything, right? It's just not solving anything. And I just don't know what's going to change anytime soon. But that's all I got to say. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. It'll make me smile like this. And until next time, too sweet, I hope you have an amazing day. Tell me what you think about this down below. And until next time, ta-ta for now. Wow.